But the shocking thing, even Amanda's death hasn't ended the bullying that followed her from school to school as she tried to escape the torrent of online taunts. This weekend, a candlelight vigil in her memory as friends.
Girls were calling me names and calling me fat and calling me this and that, and people believe that that words don't really mean that much, and that, oh, people are just saying this or saying that and it doesn't mean anything. But words can be really powerful, and it caused a lot of problems for me to this day that I still struggle with.
I'm Lauren, and I'm 26 years old.
I'm Daniel Hasty, 14 years old, and I am in 9th grade, freshman.
My name is Arlene Urbina, and I am 15 years old.
I would define bullying as somebody picking on another person mentally or physically.
Maybe the definition of bullying needs to change a little bit, and people will understand that it encompasses a whole lot more. I think bullying is any action that makes you feel uncomfortable with being at school or being around your peers.
People who are picking on someone else just because of the way they look or because it makes them feel better about themselves.
How often do you get bullied? Do you get pushed around?
Almost every day.
Almost every day?
Yes.
I took the California High School Proficiency Exam to test out of high school, and I finished my junior year. So I ended up going to the JC rather than having a senior year in high school. And I missed prom, I missed graduation, I missed all of those kind of milestone things because I just couldn't face it. I didn't have friends there. I didn't feel comfortable being involved in those things.
In her bedroom, Ashlyn ended her young life, but her family now believes that too will help others.
If she just saves one child from being bullied, if one bully gets this message and thinks about it and says, I'm not going to make another child feel that way, she did it. She did it.
Sometimes it gets hard to ignore. I've had thoughts of suicide in the past couple times, but I've realized that that is the wrong way to take this. I should just see what I can do to get past this.
Was the victim of a rumor. Some of my friends actually started it, and they said that I had hooked up with an older boy who was a senior, and he had a girlfriend, and so his girlfriend hated me and would, even though it wasn't true, she believed it, and a lot of my friends went along with it, a lot of upperclassmen girls went along with it, and they would yell things down the hall, derogatory statements, calling me a slut and things like that, and it just chipped away at my self-esteem to the point where I just didn't want to go to school. I would call my mom and go home a lot of days, and then ultimately I just couldn't face it. I couldn't go back there anymore. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't know what to do about it and how to escape from it, and so I overdosed on pills and ended up having to go to the hospital and stay in the hospital, and I was lucky that I survived, but it was a pretty severe situation.
In Washington today, the Department of Education opened a summit to combat bullying. It's a nationwide problem that Elaine Quijano tells us was painfully highlighted this week by the suicide of a high school freshman from Buffalo.
14-year-old Jamie Rodemeyer had been bullied relentlessly since 5th grade. His parents, Tim and Tracy, found his body on Sunday.
I remember that when I was little, I would always get picked on because of my weight. And, she had a bunch of friends and she would always just laugh and make me feel bad. And I felt like nobody else would listen if I told them. So I would kind of keep quiet and, try to stay away.
Residents in the Perth community of Ellenbrook are in shock after out-of-control bullies tortured and tried to bury a 14-year-old boy. The boy was tied up, blindfolded and burned before being dragged into what's being described as a makeshift grave. Parents from the boy's school say bullying is widespread.
Upon arrival, she discovered marks on her son's neck and arms. Then she took him to the hospital. After Tristan was able to calm down, he explained what happened to his mother.
Cyberbullying, using the internet or cell phones to threaten, spread rumors, or post doctored photographs. According to recent studies, this kind of bullying is on the rise. By one count, as many as 1 in 3 kids is being victimized.
Well, I was embarrassed and I was ashamed of it, certainly, because I don't know, I felt like I had done something wrong or something to deserve it. And then I also kind of felt like I didn't want to get labeled as a narc. Like, I didn't want to go tell on anyone and then get made fun of more for that. So it held me back telling or even talking about it to anyone. Even my friends, I didn't really I just kind of tried to make it a joke and kind of roll with it.
Brittany, what did people call you?
They call me dyke, faggot. I've been even called words that I'm even ashamed to say to this day.
Group of friends. We were like the popular clique, but there was still a hierarchy. There were certain girls that were kind of the queen bees and the rest of us that were kind of their followers, I guess. I mean, we were friends, but it always felt like there was a hierarchy. So there were definitely a couple of other girls that were my friends that felt targeted the same way that I did. Maybe not to such an extreme, because I had the wrath of the upperclassmen for some reason. But definitely, most of my friends, I think, in that group at some point or another felt targeted for something they had done, something they wore, the way they looked.
She didn't only just pick on me, she picked on other people as well. And I saw that she targeted the people who, who were really quiet and shy. And I was really quiet and shy back then, and I didn't really talk to anyone. I always kept things to myself, and she targeted people like that, so it was not just me.
I can recall going along with a group, making fun of certain people that weren't, cool like us. And, I don't remember ever physically, being mean to anyone or, really, but I'm sure I don't know how much my actions affected someone else. But I definitely remember, going along with the group because it was cool to make fun of someone else for something.
I think people bully because sometimes they don't really, they have bad situations and they think that by making someone feel bad and, feel the pain that they're feeling, that would make them feel better because they know that someone's, suffering the same.
mother and I'm married and I'm very happy and content in my life. I don't feel like it affects me anymore, but it did take a really long time for me to build up self-confidence. It wasn't until after high school and after I met my husband that I started to really gain self-esteem and learn to love myself. I think I really was robbed of that because of the bullying.
I would have the message that I would have would be to build up confidence and talk to someone, a teacher, because afterwards it's just going to get worse because they're going to keep picking on you and they could do other things as well. And maybe they're not just picking on you, they're picking on other people. And that if you speak up, things could change. You never know.
I realized that I need to be there. I can't just succumb to what this bully wants me to do. I should do what's best for myself and for everyone else.
By seeing this, they could pretty much relate to someone that it's just not fake, that if you speak up, oh, well, nothing's going to happen. It's still going to be the same. You know, teachers do care about students, and if you talk, it could help. And I know that bullying keeps you from academics and doing sports because you just feel so uncomfortable and worried about that you can't think of anything else.
It gets better. It definitely gets better. Life only improves, and it's certainly not worth taking your life because someone else is making you feel less than them.